Um, Great. So, hello everybody. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining today's EIV webinar. For those of you who are joining for the first time, EIV webinars are learning sessions that India Welfare Trust hosts for the Every Indian Volunteering community, which is a group of passionate volunteering nonprofits around India that are looking to grow and build their volunteering programs. My name is Karthikeya. I work with India Welfare Trust, and I'll be moderating the session today. The topic today, I think, is a very interesting one, and one that we're all sort of keeping an eye out on how we can leverage AI tools in our daily work. Um, so we have with us today Shubham Prakash, who will lead the session. Shubham is the founder of We Do Good, which is a skilled volunteering platform that connects nonprofits with skilled volunteers. And Shubham himself, he's been a graduate of IIT Kanpur. He has also been in the social sector for, the last decade, working with organizations like Make a Difference and Blood Connect. So thanks for joining, Shubham, and really looking forward, to learning myself also in terms of how we can use AI. So over to you, Shubham.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Karthikeya, for this kind introduction, right? Cool. So let me share my screen and maybe I can walk through that. Is everyone able to see my screen? Can someone just confirm?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Cool. Uh, Thanks. So I'll just take 1 minute because like just talking about what we are. Right. So we do good basically. So as Karthikeya mentioned, like I am the founder of We Do Good. So We Do Good is a skilled volunteering platform that empowers social impact organization by connecting them with skilled volunteers. Last year, we completed around 72 projects, helping 37 organization saving around an average of 1.2 lakh rupees per project itself. We touched around 18 causes. And via We Do Good, we have helped other not-for-profits across different pieces like marketing, technology, and strategy. Like if you're interested, like my team is here and you can definitely reach out to me as well. So before I start on AI, right? Like, and I'm sure like Megha like shared about like Megha during the registration process actually asked about on what all AI tools you have used. But I wanted to kind of get a sense check of the audience here, right? Like, for example, where you are all at like using AI. So I want you to answer two things, right? Like first thing is what are the different AI tools that you use? And second, how many times have you used it? So like if you're using three tools, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, for example, so just mention ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, and probably add the number of times like that you have used them. If you're using it weekly, just mention weekly. If you're using it daily, that mention daily, right? Like, so can you all just put that in the chat box so that I can at least know, right, like how much people are using AI tools in general. Okay, let me open my chat box as well to see. ChatGPT, Gemini, often. Okay, good. Weekly. Okay, Google Apps script, nice. New to AI, just heard about it. Okay, ordered once or twice. Great. I see around 10, 15 people have responded. So if others can also respond, that would be quite great. Okay. Okay. People are saying weekly, right? Like, so, however, there are few people who are new to AI as well. And there are few people who are using it very frequently too. Okay. So we have a mixed crowd with major focus towards people who have been using like chat GPT once a week or that kind of a thing itself, right? Like, so, okay. So this is just a word cloud of what all you mentioned, right? Like, so these are some of the tools I think for folks who are new to AI, they can also hear about this, right? Like, so most of the people definitely know about chat GPT. It's a generative AI tool, which was developed by OpenAI. Not going into, like, for example, theory of how AI looks like and all, but for people who are just starting with AI, right? How, for example, like I don't know, but my parents used to do that. So if something I don't learn, they'll beat me. So if, for example, if I'm a 4-year old and I've been asked to learn ABCD, and if I pronounce it wrong, they will just like they'll just beat me, or they'll just punish me saying that what it is, and then they'll ask me to reiterate and improve on that. So generative AI has been developed in this way. So how generative AI or all these AI tools which works is that they are actually being like when these models are trained, right? Like when, for example, a AI model is being trained, just think of it as a human, right? So what it's done is that like it's asked that, okay, I've given you 10 things. What is your next word that you'll reply? And if the next word is something that was expected, they will give them a toffee. And if the next thing is something that is not expected, then like they'll punish it. So the whole principle of chat GPT or AI has been developed by how humans are being treated, how we are offered, like for example, a recognition for something that we are doing great, and then take it forward. So people who are new to AI, just think of it as an assistant. I still feel that AI can not replace humans in every aspect, but there are a lot of ways where it can save a lot of time for humans in general as well, right? Like, so whatever it is doing, and I'll be showing today on how you can kind of do it and all. So these are some of the tools that's there. Chat GPT, Gemini, Claude, for example, these are more of like generative AI tools, which is more for text generation, which I'll be covering today. Copilot, again, like integrating this with Microsoft and all that. Some people are using Otter, Fireflies, and all that. It's more of like a recording tool which helps you record and summarize few things. I'll show you one example of that too, and couple of other tools, right? For I think image generation and all. So these are some of the tools that's there. However, there are a lot of tools, right? Like there's no dearth of tools which are not available. So people generally, like I personally feel very like I think I personally feel very much into this, that how many tools are there and how do I even keep track of it. So there's a website called bothunt.ai. uh, Let me just show you what it is, right? Like, so if you're not aware of different tools and all, and if you're really looking for what type of tools are available, you can just go onto this website called bothunt.ai, and you can find tools for different pieces. So ChatGPT is just for basic text, but if you want something specific for something, so there's something called as Kisan AI. So if any one of you are working into agriculture space, you can kind of use it. Like I just suggested one of like other incubatees, Detangle AI, who's working in the law space. If you have a law document, and this has really helped me, I had few MOAs and AOAs which I didn't understand what it is, so I just uploaded the document and asked it to kind of summarize it and all. ChatGPT can do it, but this has more law context associated with it. It's trained with law data and all that. And you can find endless examples over here, depending on whether you want to generate music, whether you want to generate image, video, and all that stuff. Okay. So just the basic ones for people who are looking to explore and all. But before I jump onto AI and all, I have a very basic activity for you all, right? Like, so I want each one of you to participate over here. So the activity is that you have to, like, I'm asking you a question. Can you create an activity for homemakers on waste? So we want to engage homemakers, and you have to like create an activity for homemakers on waste. So can you all try to, hello, am I not audible? Okay. Uh, cool. So I want you all to create an activity for homemakers and waste. And can you all put it out on the chat.
हाँ,
What do you think an activity should be?
हाँ.
Okay. Neha, Rika, can you? Okay. Great, Pranami. Okay. So Gautam says segregate waste at source. Segregate waste into wet, compostable, and dry recyclable. Okay, cool. Any other activity? Okay, engage other homemakers in composting. Okay, composting. Okay. I'll come to that, Uma, right? Like I'll talk about how we can leverage ChatGPT and all that. Use waste for home decor or school projects. Make garden composite out of waste, waste management and all that. Okay. DIY from waste, bottle breaks. Okay. So these are different ideas that's coming in, right? Like, so when you go and ask ChatGPT, it will say something like this only. But let's suppose I'm working in this space, and when I was thinking about this question, I was actually thinking about creating an awareness session, and I just wrote this. So if you are an AI agent, you won't know that, okay, I'm planning to create an awareness session for homemakers who are going to join virtually and all that, so that I can talk to them. I cannot talk about each of these things like eco chemicals for cleaning best out of waste or segregating the waste on how to segregate it without going in person and all, right? So whenever you are giving a prompt or whenever you are asking someone a question, right, giving context is very important. If I am going to create an awareness session and I don't tell you that, okay, I want a volunteering activity on awareness session, you will not know and you will give me some random answers, right? So giving context is very, very important. That is when Chat GPT or any AI tool can really answer you well on what it needs to be done. And we all have a habit of just giving one line answers and all that. So I'll go into like a couple of AI tools and show you how does a particular tool looks like for people here. So this is ChatGPT. ChatGPT became very famous because OpenAI released it first, and there are few things that's done there. So people who are new to it, right? Like let's start with this thing only. So give me a volunteering activity to engage homemakers recycling waste. Okay. Now, if you see, if you see, it's kind of giving me different type of options as well. The green challenge, DIY upcycling workshop, trash to treasure swap meet, sustainable cooking classes, the green guru webinars, right? Like more about this. I'll also tell you why it's coming out to be creative and all that. So I'll come to that later on. And this, but I am only looking for awareness sessions. Filter it out. Okay. So again, like since we are thinking of awareness sessions, I told additionally it is now giving me awareness sessions, right? Now I'm saying I am only doing this for virtual folks. So can you update it? So if you see this, right, like ChatGPT gives better answers when you provide more context, right? When you give more context. And that is something which as a human we also do. Like if I'm seeking ideas from anyone, I have to give context about my organization. I have to give context about the idea that I'm generating. I have to give context about anything in general, right? So for any kind of chat GPT or anything like that, you have to give as much context as you can to figure out like to get proper answers from chat GPT itself. Okay. So one of the very important things which like basically is giving context, but how do we give context? Is it still visible? Is the size okay? If I don't go into presentation mode? Okay, looks like it's good enough. So in the world of OpenAI, in the world of AI and all, this piece is called as prompt engineering, right? Like, and people have made jobs out of it, right? Like there are new jobs in like software industries and stuff, people who are just prompt engineers. And if you think of what exactly prompt engineering is, it's just a way of asking or providing the right context to AI so that you are able to get the right answers upfront, right? Like you don't have to provide endless number of iterations and all that. Okay. So let's move into how does like prompting works, right? Like what are the things to keep in mind while giving a good prompt? So a lot of us have this idea of giving prompts and we all have done it. And what we do is that we give tasks. So for example, when I said that give me a volunteering, yes, Gautam, I'll share this presentation. So for example, I wanted to create a volunteering activity. So what did I give to them? I just gave ChatGPT a task, give me a volunteering activity to engage homemakers in recycling waste. I just gave a very little context that I want an activity for homemakers in waste piece, right? I did not provide much context. I did not provide some kind of examples and other pieces because of which AI is not able to generate everything related to what I'm looking forward to, right? So in general, like this is something which I've based on my research I've come with. And if you see a lot of people have created examples of these already online. So if you look for better prompts for something, right? Better prompts to generate an email, better prompts for writing grants. Like a lot of people are writing grants with these better prompts to generate marketing post and all that. So these are a few ways in which people have written prompts, right? Okay, A, B, C is there, just copy, paste it and do that. But it's very hard to remember it. And that's where just a framework on what you can do is helpful. So while prompting, task is definitely important. If you don't say ChatGPT do something, it won't do anything, right? Like for example, if I just say that uh, We Do Good is a great organization, I'm just providing some context. I don't know, but yeah, if you see, ChatGPT is almost like they don't know what to do because there's no task. Well, thank you for the virtual high five. I'll talk about why this is coming up little later. But yeah, nothing that it's doing, right? Like, so task is very, very important. The second things which you should always try to include is context. So try to provide as much context as you can so that AI is able to figure out things, right? So if I'm thinking of creating a volunteering activity, where it will be, what type of things I'm thinking of, are there any budget constraints, are there any location constraints, anything like that, right? Like, so this helps to generate ideas and all better. And in my personal experience, examples work really best. So if I say that, okay, I've done this activity and this kind of thing is there, it like creates awesome posts and all, right? It creates awesome like answers related to it. So whenever you can provide example, try to provide that. Apart from these, there are three other things which are optional, but you should provide if you are thinking of using it for certain content. So for example, if you're thinking of writing grants, or if you're thinking of writing research paragraphs or a marketing post, in that those cases, a persona is important. And persona can be in two ways. First is what's your writing style and what's the way you write. Second is how you think. So you might have seen some post about think like a creative ad marketing agency which has been working for 10 years. So the when they are kind of thinking about it, it's using advanced words which probably a marketing agency will know, or it's using the way marketing agency will write, right? So giving persona, like, okay, think of like as a data strategist, think of like as a strategy consultant, think of it like a program manager or a volunteering manager, and it will start writing and thinking or giving details in that front. The second is you can also give personas on how to write. So write it in a creative format or write it very similar to any of your. So I was asking Megha, so you can write it very similar to like mostly seen, right? So you can basically ask ChatGPT to write like your favorite person in that. You can also give formats. So the format could be write in bullet points, write in like paragraph, write in a creative way and all that. And you can also give tones. So for example, make it a little bit creative, make it like sarcastic, make it formal, make it semi-formal, whatever it is. So you should try giving all these things to kind of like understand and think about on how ChatGPT is going to give answers. Okay. But this is too much, right? Like if I'm going to ask certain questions, how do I provide this much? Like it feels like I have to do everything, think about, and probably write things for 10, 15 minutes. And then it gives me everything. And thinking everything on what to give and what not to give is too much. So I personally feel too much. So there are few hacks that I've been using it. So I'll show you those hacks as well. So the first hack that I use is called a customization in ChatGPT. How many of you know customization in ChatGPT? Can you write yes over here in chat? Does any one of you know ChatGPT? Sorry, customization. Okay. Wow. Okay. Looks like none. Looks like very few people know about this. But okay. So let me go to ChatGPT first and then talk about it. So if you see, right, like whenever I was asking it questions, it was writing it in a very creative way. The reason it is I was actually trying to create this. What you say? Like I'm trying to use this ChatGPT account mostly for marketing post or marketing things. So the way you can do it is you can click on your name once you log in and you can just go to customize ChatGPT. Okay. So if you go here, there are two set of instructions that you can give, which ChatGPT will always remember for you. Okay. So the first thing is I've added details about myself. So if I'm generating ideas a lot about video good or anything like that, I don't have to give that context again and again. So I've written that I'm founder and CEO of Video Good. We help do this. This is what I've been doing. What type of stuff I do, right? And I also add more background. So I have experience volunteering with these things. I'm a person with experience in strategy consulting and data analytics. And as a person, I'm very action oriented. So I wanted to, whenever giving answers, give me more action based answers, right? And I'm a curious person and I like to self improve. So here you are giving context about your work, anything side thing you are doing, your education background, as well as what's your personality like as well. Okay. And now the second thing is how would you like ChatGPT to respond? So I generally like ChatGPT to give me very structured answers, right, in bullet points and all, so that it becomes easier. So I've said, think and respond like a consultant. Always segment your answers into categories whenever possible, right? Second is adopt a conversational tone. I'm not writing a grand paper or a research paper. Try to think of how you are having a conversation in a friend with a friend. Since I write some marketing post and all, add some topical content. Like topical content generally works best. So add some topical references into this around India and any popular thing in world that's happening. You can use light sarcasm. I generally don't deprecate someone else. Generally, self-deprecating humor is what I use. So use light sarcasm, use cheeky remarks, whatever it is, right? Like so, you can mention however you want ChatGPT to reply and respond, and it will start doing that, right? So if now I want to write this, write a like mission statement for my organization. So very basic task, right? So if you see this, it already remembers that, okay, I am part from VidoGood, what is VidoGood doing and all, and it starts writing about my mission statement and all that. So I don't have to provide that context again and again and again. Okay. Does that make sense? Wait, can ChatGPT help us write the answer to how? Yes, coming to that only, right? Like that. Okay, cool. Okay. So there are two pieces to this, right? One is the custom instructions and one is the how would you like ChatGPT to respond. Now, this is something which no one can help you write. I think this is something which you should write yourself. And better to provide as much context as I told before. Uh, so Amarjot, there's no restriction on tokens. If you see, there's restriction number of words you can write, which is around 1500 words. So, right, like if you're writing very big words, you can fit in whatever you want to. Okay. Uh, we'll come to that, John. So the first thing is about yourself. So you can definitely like you should definitely write about yourself only. Don't use AI for it. AI will never know you as a person that great. But how would you like ChatGPT to respond, right? Like, so you can actually try to figure out how would you like it. So this is something which I wrote myself, but these are things which I actually took from some of my favorite content creators who write content on a very regular basis. So, okay, before I try to help you figure out on how to come up with how would you like ChatGPT to respond, can you guys suggest me some people who write regularly on internet and you would like to write like them? So someone who is writing blogs, example being mostly sane, or someone who writes books, someone who writes something else. So any examples? Okay, we have Bariku fan here. Okay, Sashi Tharoor. Sure, let's try Sashi Tharoor, right? Like, I think that sounds like a interesting one. So what we can do is we can actually sorry. Okay. So I'm just opening Sashi Tharoor blogs, and what I'm going to do is I'm trying to figure out some. I don't know who would like to write like Sashi Tharoor, but okay, let's do it. Okay, I'm copying it. I'm going again to ChatGPT, and we can use any other tool as well. So I am trying to understand the writing style of my favorite writers. Here I am. So I entered blog one and I am going to enter blog two. Okay, now if you see, it's telling me he's writing in sophisticated vocabulary, anecdotal style, educational tone, cultural references. He's also putting self-reflective humor, right? And then in the blog post too, he kind of used something similar, right? Like, so you can put some of these and try to get what type of ways he wants to do it. We did it yesterday. So we did it from Prajakta's Kohli's blog, right? Like the mostly sane person. So like her was quirky segmentation, casual tone and relatable humor, day in life narrative, random observation and realizations. So you can just copy paste these things and put it over here on the way you would like yourself to write, right? So whenever your AI is giving answers, it will start using that way of tone itself, right? Uh, Make sense? Any questions on this? And with this, you can really start writing like Sashi Tharoor and all those people. Okay. I am not seeing any questions. Okay, great. So let me move back to this itself. So first is definitely Chat GPT, and which is called as customization. And here you can customize however however you want to customize. The second way, which I like now, and I actually have a tool through which I can talk to like Llama model of Facebook, but I'll talk about Gemini, right? Like, so one thing, Gemini, how many of you know Gemini? I think some of you said that you know about Gemini, right? Do I have it open? No. Okay. So Gemini is basically an AI tool. You might have heard of Bard. They just renamed, Google just renamed Bard to Gemini. And this is the Gemini tool that they have. Now, Gemini here, there's something called as microphone, and here you can provide whatever you want to. So just speak for next 10 minutes and you won't have to write anything and Gemini will start understanding. So let me take an example. Uh, Hi Gemini, I'm looking to write a blog like Sashi Tharoor where I'm going to talk about a volunteering activity which the homemakers can do to create awareness about waste recycle. This activity is going to be virtual and these people are going to understand the importance of recycling waste and how it can save environment and like increase our lives by 200 years and all that. So can you create list of activities and help me figure out how I can plan for it? Great. So you can talk whatever you want to, and talking is much more easier than writing, right? Like, so it's going to write everything. The customization is not here in Gemini, and I'm more habitual to ChatGPT. That's why I use it. But one thing which I really like about this is I really don't have to talk anything or say anything, and via just voice, I'm able to give whatever context it is. So here you can give all those six context if you have that in mind, and then it will start writing like this. So I gave him a task that I'm planning to write a vlog. I gave him it a format like Sasi Tharoor. I gave him details that, okay, they are virtual. These are people who need to understand the importance of recycling waste and whatever. It's a session and it starts giving me answers and all. So this is the second way which you can use. Quite easy, I believe. Now, there are some more hacks to improve your prompts, right? Like, so the first hack is to actually ask AI to ask questions to improve prompt. Okay. So before that, at VideoGood, what we do is that like we have taken, so the personal chat GPT account is a free version, but we have taken a like what you say, like a paid chat GPT account for the whole team itself. So every team has credentials to this link and they can basically ask for it, right? Like, so here, what we have done is that because I know my team does not actually ask a lot of questions and give better prompts. So what I've done is that like I've given context about on what is the way we do good would like to answer. So every brand has a branding technique, right? Like, so I've entered all those branding techniques, but I've also entered things like ask questions initially. Help me understand the request better by asking few initial questions before even responding. So see here, how does this work, right? Like, so I've entered that, or I can give it in the prompt as well. So I am looking to create a volunteering activity for waste recycling for homemakers. Help me do it. Okay. Now, if you see this,
Shubham, we're not on the same screen as you.
oh,
We're still on the PPT.
so sorry, my bad. Let me share my whole screen. Is it visible now? Hello, is it visible now?
Yes, yes, thanks.
Cool. So this is the account which we use, right? Like, so this is a common account that every team member in VideoGood use. And if you see in the customization, I have actually added details about every person role, right? Like, so I'm an employee at VideoGood who does everything. So I perform almost all roles. I'm a founder creating strategies. I'm a marketing person writing content. I'm a tech person looking for tech solutions, and I write stuff in SQL and Python, and I use open source ERP next. So whenever someone is searching, they give answers in these formats only and does not take us to Java or anything, even if the person is not providing context. As a data analyst, I analyze data across various programs and I'm looking for actionable insights. So gives actionable insights better. And then how would you like to respond, ChatGPT to respond? So I've given context as well for anything except marketing and creativity. Here is you will respond. So here I've said that, okay, if something is related to marketing and creativity, make it structured. Ask questions initially, structure your writing, provide context and all. But for marketing post, apply these things, right? Like, which is how, for example, we do goods brand identities and how we do good should be speaking about and all that, right? So I added that. Now let's take an example of this itself. So I'm planning to create a volunteering activity for homemakers. Ask me questions to understand what type of activity I am looking for. Keep questions crisp because we don't have time, and up to 5. Okay. Now what it will do is that it will ask me questions. So how you are going to a friend and they are asking questions, right? So it will start asking questions. So what are the main goals and outcomes you hope to achieve by this volunteering activity, right? So create awareness around segregation. 2 is, are there any specific interest? No. 3, one-time event. So if you see, it is asking all type of questions, right? Would you prefer the activity to be conducted virtually or in person? I did not give anything like that, right? Like, so it is asking me everything, whatever it needs to be. Now, are there any particular causes and all? So I'm going to say, if you see here, I did not even mention waste recycling and stuff, right? So let me add that as well. Waste segregation for waste. Okay. Now I entered this, and then it will now start giving it starts giving me everything. So now how the session should look like. So theme and context and all that stuff. So this is one way you can improve your prompting by asking ChatGPT to ask you questions. Okay. So this is one way of doing it. And this works out really well. Okay. Now there are some times where you cannot ask things. So for example, if you plan to use DALI or Mid-Journey, people who know, like if you want to create images or something like that, so you can ask AI to generate the prompt first. You can then edit it or provide little bit more context and then ask AI to answer it again. So say to ChatGPT that, okay, I'm looking to understand how this can be created, and I want a prompt which ChatGPT can use to do that. So let me go here and then do this. So I'm looking to create a session, a volunteering session. I'm planning to give prompt to ChatGPT to get better answers. Generate a prompt which will help ChatGPT to answer the question better. Okay, and here you can add some more context, right? Volunteering session on recycling waste, virtual for awareness. If you see this, it is going to, it might not do it because I have this customization there. But let's suppose if I'm doing it on some other tool, I'm using Claude. So Claude is another competitor, you can say. So there's an organization called Anthrophobic. So they have created Claude. Claude is free. I'll come to these tools and which to use, when to use, and all that. So I have a slide for that. But you can basically ask them to write it, right? So see this, it's adding all those things. So you're expert in waste management and recycling education. Your task is to help design an engaging and informative virtual volunteering session to increase awareness about the importance of recycling and proper waste disposal. The session should be designed in this. In your response, please provide a detailed outline or plan of what it should be. Okay. So the reason ChatGPT didn't give it was because of the customization. So if it would not have been customized, because I say I always want answers and in bullet points, that's why it's saying that. But you can create a prompt here. Now you have a great prompt, right? Like just edit it little bit and then go to ChatGPT or whatever it is, and then you'll get so great answers and all, right? Like, so this is the way you can get better answers by asking an AI to create a prompt for you itself. Vadva Claude is accessible in India. When it was launched, it was like not accessible, but now you can access it. So Claude is yeah. Okay, does Gemini have the most up-to-date information? So if you're searching for few things, like I think Gemini has data, like the recent ones. I've been like sorting. I've been using Gemini Advanced, so it seemed to have everything, whatever it is. But I haven't seen anything where they don't have recent data. I haven't tried on that. For recent stuff and all, the best tool to use is so sorry. For recent tool and all, the best thing to use is Perplexity AI. They are saying they are a Google competitor where you can get knowledge in whatever way you want it to be, right? Like, so you can talk whatever you are searching on Google. If you want answers, you can just look over Perplexity AI. I wouldn't suggest it for idea generation or any of those things. Okay. In the interest of time, I'll move forward. So this is how you can generate idea. Make sure you provide as much context as you can. Either use voice prompt, either use customization, either ask ChatGPT to ask questions, or ask AI to generate prompt itself, right? And then ask answer to do that. Okay. I'll move on to data analysis quickly. So data analysis generally with non-paid version, you can do some stuff. So in ChatGPT, you can do some analysis where you can copy paste data. So whatever you can copy paste that it will analyze, it has some limitations. In Claude, you can analyze 5 files, which are a maximum of 10 MBs each. So if you have a data for all the nation, you won't be able to analyze here. But if you have a paid version, I generally recommend every organization to have one paid version. Don't do everything like how I have created one where my team can use it and can get answers for everything. Use just one paid version and it can analyze whatever you want it to be. So I'll be showing both paid and non-paid version and how you can analyze both qualitative as well as quantitative data. Okay. So I'll go to the paid version first for analyzing the quantitative data first. So here I'm here. If you see, one thing which gets added is able to upload files. Okay. So I have a data which I got from one of the NGOs itself without sharing their names. It has some data, right? Like, so I have received this file from an NGO. Can you analyze the data file and tell me the content of the file? So if you see it, what it will do is that it will first unzip it. So if you see, it's writing code itself, right? Like, so it's writing Python code. Whoever knows Python over here, you don't have to worry about that, right? Like, I know Python, but I never check it. It will start giving me some details and all. So the file you receive from NGO, it has extracted, contains 2 Excel files, sample session data and sample volunteer data. Let's proceed to analyze the content of each of these files. Would you like me to start with a specific one or both? So I said both. So I mentioned both. So now it will try to see what the file is. And here, if you see, it's actually writing Python code and then executing it in the backend as well. And that's where it might be taking some time. So if you see, it's telling me what the data is in the Python code and all. But here, if you say, it talks about the sample session data file has these things: title, offering ID, reference, which state, city, and all it is in, attendance date, session status, total boys enrolled, and all that stuff. And sample volunteer data has these things. Okay. Okay. I'm asking just an analytical question, right? So can you tell me the volunteer which has taken most number of classes? So it will analyze, it will join these two data, which is session data and volunteer data. Here you only have volunteer name. And if you see, it might have an, okay, they already have a volunteer name, but let's suppose they do not have a volunteer name here. They only have an ID. So it can join these two files and then give you the answers from this. So if you see, because the data is very small, The volunteer who has conducted the most number of classes is Seema Dhanuka with a total of 6 completed sessions, right? Now, which state has highest attendance percentage? Okay, and it will start giving you some of these details. So whenever you are looking for data and all, right, like you can upload files, like if you are using Copilot, which is again a Microsoft tool to link with your Excel and all, you can just enter the Excel files and you can keep on analyzing on it and all that. So here it's saying the highest percentage of attendance is in Uttarakhand with 80% attendance rate, right? So this is the way you can actually analyze things, right? Like, and you can kind of understand any qualitative data, right? Can ChatGPT create Excel formulas? Obviously, it can create Excel formulas. The Copilot has done that. You'll have to write it to them like, can you create an Excel formula for this? But you'll have to give a lot of context, Niharika. It cannot do without getting context. Like you'll have to tell in column A, this is the thing. In column B, this is the thing. All you can do is that you can upload this and say that, okay, I'm looking to get an answer for this. Can I do a combination and whatever in between? Okay. Now I'll come to qualitative data. And in like I was talking to someone recently and they said that they have a lot of qualitative data and the reason why they are not able to like generate a lot of insights, it's because very hard to analyze qualitative data and there's someone who has to clean the data for everything. So I actually asked Megha to get some basic qualitative data again. So we have qualitative data, again, very short in nature, but you can upload big files. I've uploaded files with more than 20,000 responses or random responses as well. I'll quickly show you as well what this file looks like as well. So where is the qualitative? So if you see here, the qualitative question is, what were some more common concerns or questions mentor or mentees reached out to you after the start of the module? And if you see, these are random things. And so, okay, now I'll go here and I'll ask this. Analyze the responses and suggest common issues because of which sessions are not going great. Okay, so it will start analyzing the response. And why ChatGPT is good at it is because it's first also able to do numerical calculation and write code, but it's also able to play with words, right? Like, so if you see, it's kind of talking about inactivity of participants is there, lack of awareness, time management, operational questions, missing data, right? So there are some where it is NAN and all that. And these are the suggested actions. So if I open the file exactly, there were two things. I don't have Excel and that's why it's not coming up. But the qualitative data was like this, where there were some common concerns, and then there was use this space to give feedback on what we could change in the curriculum. So here it's also analyzing that and giving text on what it can do, right? Sorry, I was using another tab. So if you see, it's giving me everything. Let's suppose I want to convert qualitative data into quantitative data. I want to understand how many of them are missing data, how many of them are saying inactivity of participants and all that. So can you also give me the number of responses which are for each type of concern? Okay. So I might extend by 3-4 minutes, depending on how much things I have to cover, but we'll cover it quickly. Okay, so here it's talking about inactivity, 3 people spoke, lack of awareness, 1 person spoke, time management, 2 people spoke, operational questions, 2 people spoke, right? Like, so it is giving you a summary of whatever it is and how it is looking like as well. So if you have like 10,000 responses and if you want to understand how many of them are concerned about certain thing, how many of them are concerned about other things, you can give it to that. If you have like like if you have like something where you would like to, for example, only look over 5 or 10 parameters, give all those parameters over there. So I'm just looking for inactivity or lack of awareness or time management, and then you can upload and then take it forward as well, right? Okay, uh, great. Let me quickly see questions. Okay, Gautam says, how accurate are these responses likely to be? Okay. So personally, I've seen ChatGPT giving inaccurate responses for almost 10, 12 percentage times. So if there is something which you are not agreeing about, right, you can actually ask it to double check it. So can you double check and see if, these responses are correct? And it will do the exercise again, right? Like, so you can double check it and then see, right, whether the answers are correct or not. Most of the time, whenever I have asked to double check things, it has given me the right responses. Okay. The second question is there any AI tool that can analyze qualitative data from regional languages? So, Atira, till now, I have not seen any tool which analyzes it, but I've seen a lot of tool which converts it, right? Like, so the way to do that, I would say, is to actually convert them into like English and then do that, or wait for 6 months. I'm sure like there will be tools which will convert things from that. The Kishan AI tool that I was talking about, right? Like, so in the bot hunt, uh, the Kisan tool actually also uses multilingual AI agriculture assistant. So someone has developed this where people can actually get understanding in like any languages. So Marathi, Telugu, Kannada, and all. So people have developed in different languages, but again, like there hasn't been a case where I see this. Pranami, is there any file type restriction? For ChatGPT, there is not. However, for Claude, you can only upload CSV or .txt files, right? Like, so for some reason, I love ChatGPT just because you can upload everything. I've never experimented with Claude Pro version. I just felt that like ChatGPT is better. But if you go here in Claude, you can upload JPGs in documents and all. You cannot upload zip, but you can upload CSV or doc files as well. So that's there, right? Like there's always one way you can upload something like that. Do we use any AI tools in data management? Not exactly, because as an organization, we are very like we don't have a lot of data. We just have completed around 70 projects and all that, and we are figuring out how to collect data. But there are a few tools which are being used. In fact, for Mastercard, where I was working before, so I was helping them figure out a tool called Merlin, which can be used to figure out on how to take it forward. Okay. Moving on, I'll just come with one last piece, which is how to generate certificates using this automation. And we can so I won't, based on time, I won't like where it is, right? Huh. Okay. So this is the way you can generate it. You can provide a certificate template. So you can say, this is a template for certificate. Can you create PDF documents where you update name with Megha and Surekha, who are probably two random volunteers, and help download two files, right? Like, so if I show you, this was the certificate template, and you can design whatever you want. You can put a logo, you can put images. This is just a random thing. And if we want to generate this certificate for each one of you, whoever was there for this AI session, we can do that. Okay. So let's do that itself. And they have generated this for Megha and Surekha. So can you generate certificates for all the attendees from this list? And I can provide whatever number of list I want. So if you see, we have a list of people who have registered for this session, and it will start generating a certificate for everyone, right? And here, if you see, I have not given that there is a name file and all, and it will all, okay, there is some issue. Okay, if you see in second piece, they were able to handle. Yeah. Now it's kind of, and it figured out itself that name is something which makes sense to replace. and it will start creating certificates and all that. Okay, Mega. Sure. Uh, is there any AI tool? So as I said, there are some tools which are being developed for regional languages. You can find it on Bot Hunt. I've never checked myself, but I can definitely check it and let you know, Sumakan, on that front. Yeah. Which tool are you talking about, Jivita? Uh, wait, okay, wait. I think you are talking about the data management tool, right? So it's called Molden. You can actually check it, right? Okay, no worries. Yeah, Gemini also allows in indigenous languages. I have never tried it myself, but you can definitely try it and all. Now, if you see, it's showing me the link to download certificate for Shrushti, who registered. If you see it updated the link on Shrushti, you can also say that, okay, convert it into PDF and whatever it is, and then it is able to generate whatever you want it to be. So here it is saying, given the number of certificates, if you need a specific one or all of them in different format or batch download, please let me know. Here it has only given one, like 5 file, and this list had 129 people. So it could have generated for everything, right? Like, so this is how you can automate some of these tasks. There are ways to kind of create the automation via like Zapier or Make and other things as well, which we can probably cover, but I don't think it's relevant for everyone. So that is mostly all that I had for today. Before we go into any question Q&A, we are actually conducting two more sessions because we realized there were a lot of requests around how to create AI for content creation and marketing and some along these lines. So we are also doing two more sessions. One is on 21st, a couple of weeks from now, and then 2.5 weeks now onto diving deeper into advanced AI. And here we'll learn about AI chatbots. We can create some chatbot about your organization in literally like 10 minutes if you have certain document or website. We'll also see some of the other tools in general. And in this session, we'll just talk about how to create images. So how to use Midjourney and all, how to use DALI, how to figure out places for like basically creating marketing post on a regular basis, right? And how you can repurpose marketing post and all. So if any one of you are interested, you can register for these two sessions. Uh, One last thing, which I'm not going to cover in these two sessions, is a lot of people have spoken about Otter, TLDV, and these kind of things. So there are many tools which actually like analyze calls and all. TLDV is the free version, which I love amongst everything. There's Otter and Fireflies. I personally prefer TLDV in terms of how it provides the summary. However, in paid version, I like this thing. We have few meetings and all which we have been doing. And if you see, this kind of AI is so advanced, it analyzes everything. So it tells you how many people speak, what were the next steps, how this person was, what were the pain points, what were their interest, and all that, right? Like, so if you see, AI is getting so advanced that it's not just reading things, but it's also analyzing things. And one thing about this Sybil that we use to track our project calls and all is that even if you're speaking in Hindi, it understands. So this understands Hindi and all that, and it converts them in English and gives an actionable point. So this, just to give context, we use these tools to first record any calls that's happening, whether we are doing a partnership call or whether it's a project call, to understand how projects are going well and all that. So how do we analyze these? So you cannot analyze it yourself. Either you can provide the transcribed version and to ChatGPT and do it, or you can use tools like TLDV, which provides a summary. Or if you need an advanced tool, Sybil is like a great tool, I believe. Very costly, like $50 for a month, but very good in automating few things. Or if you have to, if you have meetings where you don't need to join, but you just want summaries and all, you can do these from here itself. And we'll talk about these in advanced AI sessions if any one of you are looking forward to it as well. So yeah, that's all. Like if any one of you have any questions, I have my details over here as well. And I'm happy to take any questions now too. Yeah.
Thanks,
Great.
Shubham.
Yep.
Yeah, please go ahead. So
I
there are a
think
few more questions coming in. I know we are also out of time. So I don't know, Shubham, if you want to answer one or two. Otherwise, we can also ask them to connect with you separately.
sure. So I think one question is how costly are these AI tools? So Pranami, I would suggest don't start with paid tools right now. I think a good way of using is to use free tools. So ChatGPT is a very free tool that you can use. Try to identify what's your use cases. So for us, we pay $60 a month to Sybil just because we want to make sure all our projects are going fine, right? And volunteers do not drop off and all without sending a person in between. And that's why we have invested for that. So it's all about how much you want to save your employees money and all that, and then figure out with that. I'm happy to help you understand where you need a paid tool or a free tool in general. Okay. Will you please suggest an AI tool that helps in analyzing data? I'm sorry. Okay. So Behar, I suggested, like I showed you how you can analyze data using Chat GPT, but we can go it into little detail in the advanced AI session. And if people are looking to see on how they can manage data and like analyze data in detail using AI, I'm happy to do another session just for data management and all that as well. Yeah. Uh, Great. Any other questions? Okay. Cool. I think I've answered all the recent ones. If there are any, happy to text me on WhatsApp or email me, and I'm happy to answer as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Shubham. Thanks everybody for joining. I know we are a couple of minutes late. We've sent a link in the chat to a feedback form. So if you can please share your feedback on this session or also on future sessions that you would like to see, I think it will help us a lot. Shubham has also, shared his own contact details. So please feel free to connect with him there. I'm also sharing a link to a forum with which you can stay connected and keep posting questions that you all have. It's a discourse forum called Every Indian Volunteering. So yeah, please you can join that community as well and stay posted on various happenings, and any questions you have you can post there as well. Um, Great. So thanks so much, Shubham, for joining. I think it's such a great session, and I'm personally going to try and start implementing some of this, and I'll definitely be pinging you for more questions. But yeah, thanks everybody, and yeah, just a reminder again to share your feedback on this session.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Yes.